Hey everybody. Um so yesterday, early in the day, uh Joshua, whom I've called Pops, anyway, Joshua, he called me twice. We haven't spoken in like a couple weeks. Um when I first started working at Domino's, he's on the streets right now. Man, this money thing, it drives me nuts. This money game, but it is what it is. So anyway, I've shared a lot of my money with my friends throughout my life. I always have, and with people on the streets or people in need, I have no problem giving money. But one thing I've learned over the years is that you can enable bad behavior, and if you're continuing to give money to people or to things or organizations that are continuing to perpetuate a pattern that's not good for themselves or for other people, then you're not doing them really any good. Um, and so, ever since I met Pops, he was homeless when I met him, and I was homeless too in New Orleans, and he helped me out a lot, and I'm very grateful for everything that he shared with me and taught me, and the times that we've had together. But one thing that has been a reoccurring pattern is that I've seen and witnessed and experienced with my time with him has been, and I don't think he's done this, and I think he's operated in this type of way because he thinks that it really is the right way. I don't feel like he's really trying to do it as some type of a oppressive tyrant or anything like that. But he has, like, when we first we were living on the streets together. There were times when I'd be cleaning up our gear and packing up things, and he'd just be walking around. I'd be like, in my mind, like Yahushua, Most High is like really, high vibrational, spiritual, enlightened beings, whatever you want to call them. To me, it feels like it's the right thing to do would be to always to help out, like to not like operate in that type of tyrannical way, to where it's like because essentially, if I felt like I was like his servant, and he didn't want to help out with some of the grunt work that comes with putting up gear and putting up tents and da 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 da. And I even talked to him about this, and after I talked to him about it, he started helping out a little bit more. But and there's things that he's said over the years that have just led me to believe that he seems to be, I think this is something that he needs to work on. Like, we all have things to work on. I'm a drug addict. That's probably my biggest thing that I need to work on as a human being, is getting over my self-destructiveness. For him, for Joshua, I think it is his power trips. I think it's the way that he operates himself in a manner to where he feels like it's okay for him to like order people around. And I think that's part of the reason too why he's been, he hasn't wanted to work a normal job, and he has trouble whenever he has worked a normal job because he doesn't like being told what to do, which I get, and I don't really like being told what to, I mean, I don't, if I have a leader who I really respect and I feel like they're really leading me in a good way that's good for myself, I have no problem listening to them. But I think that should be a choice, so that's why I'd love to develop guidelines that we can all follow, that we all agree upon, that we can all change and talk about when we want to help guide us all, so that it's not just one person pointing the finger and saying this and that and that and that and this, because that's just, it's tyrannical, and it also fucks with people's egos, and it also does him a disservice because he's sitting there on his fucking, telling people what to do and all this and that. And it's like, at the end of the day, he could jump in and do a lot of the work himself and help out. Like, there's different types of leaders. There's a leader that joins his troops on the field, and I think is when it comes to a fight, Pops would probably be the first person, definitely would be the first person to fight. But when it comes to doing, like, the minuscule work, like the 9 to 5 shit, picking up guard, like these type of things, he has issues with. So, yesterday he called me twice, back to back, after us not talking for a while. And, 2 weeks ago he asked me for some money, and I told him, please stop asking me for money. I'd already given him a good amount, and I'd already shared with him that I think he needs to get a job and this and that. And I don't know, he's kind of like, he's been trying to do little side work here and there and that and this and that. And, in my opinion, I was like, you need to get like a legit job, dude. Like, something that's going to be there, that you can depend on, it's sustainable, that's not something that's, and he was working for a friend who's kind of like digging him around a little bit. So I don't know, it just wasn't a very good situation. Like he was still always needing money. So I was like, it's not good enough. So I offered, maybe you should go be a waiter, bro. Like you're good at talking with people. You have a lot of love in your heart. You'd be a great waiter, you know, and you can make good tips. And and like he was like jealous of me because I was making so much money delivering pizzas. And you know, and then one morning, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning when I was still like, you know, I'd gotten off a shift and I was still up because I hadn't been able to fall asleep yet. And I'd worked the whole night. Like I'd work until like 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was a crazy night too. The Saturday night, all sorts of weird shit happened on the streets. And he sent me a text being like, "Hey man, I know you're tired or you just got done working all night or da, 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 but can you go and, you know, send me some money so I can go buy some biscuits and eggs?" And you know, I saw that and I was just like, wow, like that's just so alien for me to like that's just something I would not do. I would never, like, this is not who I am to, like, you know, to already, you know, receive so much from somebody else and to know that they're out there busting their ass, working fucking hard. And, you know, at the end of their day, at the end of their shift, when they're tired, after they've already given a good amount to me, to continue to ask them to, you know, for more. And it's like, and it's just for food too. And I'm the type of dude that I've been on the streets, so I've eaten out of trash cans, and I also know how to get food. I know Pops knows how. I know Josh knows how to get food too, because I've been with him on the streets when he's been able to get us food and we've had no money. He knows how to talk to people. So it's like, this is part of the pattern that I'm seeing with him, is that he has this thing about, you know, asking for, you know, seeking out help rather than, like, you know, helping himself. So yesterday, he sent me some texts saying that he was just in a really poor spot, didn't have any money, didn't have any, you know, hasn't eaten food, he was hungry, he was at Subway, but he has no money, and this and that, and his mom's mad at him, he's got all these troubles going on, and, you know, I'm just like, you know, everybody's hurting right now. It's a rough time on the planet, so it's like complaining really doesn't help solve anything, man. If you're just trying to complain just to complain and to make yourself a victim, like, you're just making things harder on yourself, in my opinion. So upon seeing that, I was like, man, you know, it's just like, it seems like he's really just complaining about stuff. And then, you know, he knows I already asked him not to ask for money, but he's sending me these messages to let me know that he's in this situation. So then I tell him, like, well, everything he's telling me, it seems like you need a homeless shelter, bro. You need help with basic needs, with food, water, shelter, this and that. That's what homeless shelters are there for. And so I sent him that back. I was like, you should probably go to a homeless shelter. And he was like, there isn't one here in Metairie. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like, big cities especially, like even just smaller cities, most of them will have some type of a homeless program for the homeless, because every, you know, small cities usually got some homeless people. And Metairie is a suburb right outside of New Orleans, so it's big. There's a lot of people there. So when he told me that there was no homeless shelters in Metairie, I was like, that doesn't feel right. And sure enough, I looked it up, and there are programs, there's housing programs, there is resources out there to help them. And if you can't find it in Metairie, then New Orleans, which is right next to Metairie, just, you know, not very far away at all. Like, he's Pops with somebody who's walked miles upon miles upon miles. So it's like 5 miles ain't really shit to him, you know. And it's like, there's stuff in New Orleans too. So there is resources out there to help him in his homeless situation. And being homeless in itself, like, because he said, whenever I did, I chose to be on the streets. It wasn't me getting kicked out or having to live on the streets. It was a choice that I chose to make. With him, it's a little different. He seems to be coming across like he's like being, like, he doesn't have anywhere, like he's almost like, it seems almost like he's burned bridges. Like, I don't know the exact details, but it seems like doesn't seem to be as welcome as he was with his friends and family. Which is sad, you know. And I think part of it goes because he's probably just like, you get to a point, man, where you push people too far, and then it's like, dude, you continue to do the same thing over and over again, and everybody else is having to work a job that you don't want to work, but you're continuing to want to get money from them that they have to go and do, but you don't want to do the work for yourself. And then it goes back to the God complex, and it's like, and it's like, oh my goodness. So anyway, I had to, you know, I sent him, you know, upon telling him the homeless, sending him the information, I sent him a link with the information on homeless shelters for Metairie, and you know, he kind of responded like, oh, okay, thanks, man. I didn't, you know, I know there's no Salvation Armies in here, but you didn't know about this or that. So it was just, well, he was in his emotions. I could tell he's in a very emotional place. He's hurting, you know, but it's hard for me. It's just hard for me to say no to people. And it's also hard for me to, like, you know, he was the only, he was like my last, you know, person that I considered a friend. But as you know, upon really thinking about our relationship and the way things have been done and how we both do things, like we're very different, man. And you know, a part of me feels like he's kind of like taking advantage of me or used me, and I don't. That's not what friends should be doing. Friends should be there for each other. It shouldn't be me ordering you around and taking advantage of you. We should be as equal as we can be. You know, we're just here because we both choose and want to be here, not because we're trying to get something out of each other or try to get other people to do things and, you know, dominate each. I don't know. It's just weird, man. So that happened yesterday, or like at 8:30 in the morning or something like that, and it just put me into a. Initially, I didn't just completely self-destruct like a lot of times I do when shit like that happens, but you know, it did put me in kind of a poor mood, and it. I mean, I got some work done, but not as much as I wanted to. And then my brother came down. You know, I live here in the basement, and the laundry machine's here, and he's always doing laundry, and I'd put laundry in when he'd already had a laundry load in there, and so then both of our loads were going at the same time, and he got stressed out about it, and I got a little stressed because he got stressed, and then that just kind of led me to, you know, indulge a little bit more than I should have, and um, so anyway, this is just what happens, man. I mean, I did these things to myself. I chose to react the way that I react, and I've chosen to engage in all of the relationships that I've chosen to engage in. But you know, it's just the thing about enabling bad behavior, like that seems to be a big, for me, that's a big issue for myself individually and also collectively, because again, our taxes, now this is a difficult situation because we're all tied into this infrastructure that we're dependent on to survive. So it's not as easy as just pulling, you know, not paying them, because if you don't pay them taxes, they can audit you and they can take away resources and da 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 da. But so it's like, yeah, there's that issue, but then there's also the issue that our taxes are, in my opinion, perpetuating an evil empire, you know, an unhealthy way of living, a way that's not in good harmony with everything. So there's a big issue, and we're continuing to pay and support these people and these companies to do things this particular way that's just destroying shit. And it's like one of the reasons why there is so much depression, one of the reasons why there is so much self-hate and pain and all this stuff is because we're continuing to hurt the planet, the life, like just life in general. Like the way that we live, the way that we're choosing to live in these modern cities is hurting life in a way that does not need to be done so. Like there is a way that we can have cities and technology and live in good harmony with nature, but we have to stop exploiting things. We have to stop polluting things. It all goes back to largely goes back to the fossil fuel industry and the plastic industry. And this is how they've used this industry to support themselves, to fuel themselves, to fund themselves, to get them abundance for themselves, while at the same time cursing us, because we're the ones that continue to consume these products, which not only kill us on a physical level, but also kill us on a spiritual level, and also kills the animals and the plants and the water and everything else too. And they're making money off of it. So this is why the hemp plant, 3D printing technology, like charging things for the rate that that fairly should be charged for, not adding on profit just for your own personal gain. These are key components to us surviving in this harsh time right now. And it's about learning the lesson. It's about stopping bad behavior. When we see it, we know when it's there in ourselves and also collectively. So I'm going to try to continue on here. I'm it's a rough time for me too, man. You know, I'm not trying to toot my own fucking violin or anything like that, but it's definitely. I do know this though. If we're able to develop some type of an opportunity for people to leave their lives and go and join some type of a communal, like an intensive community, like this, I think that's going to be the key, to surviving here is everybody like developing their own type of tribes, like because that's where we're going to find strength, is in the community, is in being together, is waking up and knowing you have like-minded people around you, that you can get good work done, that you can be there for each other. We have a set of guidelines that we all agree upon, so there shouldn't be too much disagreements. It should be a lot of good harmony, a lot of good love. It's going to help open up an opportunity for love to come in, for more love to come in, for people to feel more love, to people to help perpetuate more love. That's what the world needs right now. But it's going to take sacrifice. We're going to have to learn we're going to have to sacrifice the way that we've been living and change our ways, So it's also going to probably cut pay cuts. Like, we're not going to be able to live as lush and lavish, luxurious lives as we've been living, because a lot of that luxury comes at it's very expensive. It has a very high cost, and it's also enabling I mean, cow hides, I mean, furs, like that's all coming from killing animals just so you can, procure material that feels good. I mean, it's really disgusting when you think about it. And we have whole industries, millions, if not billions and trillions of dollars of industries based on that exploitation of animals and the earth. So these are the things that we got to fix. But it takes us all working together. It takes because it's a collective consumerism. That's why the hemp plant, like introducing this type of good business, is really a key in so many different ways. But it's so many different things. I have a hard time focusing on exactly what I should work on because there's so many issues at hand, and the hemp, and the hemp plant can solve so many things. So I know it's the solution, but it's hard for me sometimes to focus on what I should, taking it step by step is difficult sometimes. So, but I'm going to continue on. I just want to share this with you guys, let you guys know what's going on. And yeah, all right. I love you guys. Y'all take care.